Miller's Girl. The story kicks off with Cairo being excited about starting a new class where she'll meet her new teacher, Jonathan Miller, who is also a writer with several books under his belt. Both Cairo and Miller arrive early to class, surprising each other. Cairo reveals she's already read all the books the professor assigned for vacation, leaving Miller astonished at her dedication. Cairo's best friend, Winnie, interrupts them, leading Cairo away for snacks before class. Meanwhile, Miller, curious about Cairo, checks her books and discovers she also reads erotic romance novels. His colleague, Boris, joins in, reading a few lines from one of the books. Further investigation reveals Cairo also reads Miller's own romantic novels, much to his surprise. After class, Miller returns home, hoping to spend quality time with his wife, Beatrice, who is swamped with work. Despite her busy schedule, she gives him some attention, making for a promising evening. However, their moment is interrupted by a phone call, leaving Miller disappointed. The next day, Miller and Boris chat about life while enjoying coffee outside the school building. Rumors of ghosts haunt the nearby woods, supposedly lurking close to the path Cairo used to take to school daily. But Cairo's disappearance is overshadowed by Winnie's bizarre attempt to seduce Professor Boris. Claiming she needs his help to enroll in physics, Winnie's ulterior motive becomes clear. To Cairo, Winnie prefers women. Back home, a heart-to-heart unfolds. Cairo, burdened by her lack of exciting experiences, confesses to being the ultimate good girl. Winnie, ever the instigator, proposes a daring experiment, explore forbidden relationships, like student-teacher affairs, for a story worth telling. Cairo scoffs at the idea, especially considering Winnie's likely goal, Professor Boris, not some random fling. Winnie then throws another name into the mix, Professor Miller. She's noticed his lingering gaze, suggesting Cairo pursue him instead. Initially amused, Cairo soon concedes the potential of Winnie's outrageous plan. Now, engrossed in Professor Miller's book, Cairo finds herself drawn to him in a way she can't explain. Professor Miller seeks Cairo out after class. He invites her to a Saturday poetry reading, convinced she'll love it. He also praises a recent writing of hers, impressed by how she internalized the material. Recognizing her talent, he proposes a challenge: write a short story mimicking her favorite author. If it's exceptional, she'll pass the entire semester. Cairo, thrilled, accepts. She surprises him further by revealing she's read his books. Leaving him speechless, she quotes a passage mirroring his earlier praise. Delighted, Miller shares it's his first and most cherished work. He admits writer's block since marriage, lacking inspiration for another book. Cairo, sensing his discouragement, playfully challenges him to write again. Days later, Cairo attends the poetry reading. Not just for the poems, but with the secret hope of seeing Miller. He arrives too, and they both relish the evening immersed in verse. Despite initial reservations, Cairo found herself enjoying the poetry reading, the relaxed atmosphere putting her at ease. She even shared a cigarette with Miller, their conversation flowing more naturally. Back at school, inspired by Winnie's suggestion, Cairo underwent a makeover. With coffee in hand, she approached both Boris and Miller, offering them a drink and a moment of casual conversation. The change in atmosphere was palpable, even leading to a shared cigarette with Miller. Later, Cairo relayed the encounter to Winnie, mentioning Miller's lack of comment on her new look, though she sensed his approval. The conversation shifted as Cairo declared her intention to write her story in the style of Henry Miller, known for his provocative and erotic exploration of relationships. Miller, initially hesitant about the potentially controversial choice, found himself intrigued by Cairo's boldness, eventually granting his approval. With Miller whisked away for a weekend trip with his wife, Cairo found herself alone with Winnie. As Winnie playfully mimicked how she imagined Cairo seduced the professor, their laughter was interrupted by a sudden realization: Cairo couldn't find her phone. A nagging suspicion arose: could she have left it somewhere unexpected? The line between reality and Cairo's writing blurs. Desperate for her phone, she dials Miller's home number. To her surprise, he answers, admitting he accidentally packed it. Relief washes over her, but it's short-lived. Miller reveals he hasn't left yet due to his wife's work delay, and disturbingly, suggests he knows where Cairo lives. Anxiety nudges at Cairo, as the storm rages outside. The phone call ends with Miller offering to personally deliver the phone, and soon, headlights pierce the rain, revealing Miller's car. A tense silence hangs in the air, as they stare at each other. Then, in a moment of electrifying confusion, Cairo finds herself locked in a kiss with her teacher. But is it real? As Cairo sits at her desk, diligently working on her Henry Miller-inspired story, the one assigned by Miller, doubts cloud her mind. Did the kiss truly happen, or was it simply a scene playing out in her fiction? The answer remains elusive. Hours later, Cairo sends her completed story via email. Meanwhile, across town, Miller, forced by his wife's demands, seeks privacy in another room. There, he reads Cairo's work, a story that mirrors their own forbidden connection, only intensified. A thrill courses through him as he devours the words, blurring the lines between reality and the student's captivating narrative. The next morning, Cairo anxiously waits for her teacher in the classroom, and asks if he's okay. Miller, visibly angry, discusses the story she wrote, deeming it inappropriate, and demanding she write a new one about war. Cairo refuses and challenges Miller to explain why her story made him so uncomfortable. Miller insists he won't accept her story and warns of failing her if she doesn't comply. During their argument, Miller emphasizes their relationship as strictly teacher and student, regretting assigning the creative writing task. Cairo, hurt, claims Miller inspired the story and crossed boundaries. In frustration, Miller calls her mediocre and warns of consequences. Feeling hurt, Cairo storms out, leaving her story in a school administrator's mailbox. Miller returns home and vents to his wife about the stressful day, including Cairo's story. His wife, intrigued, reads it, sparking a heated discussion that interrupts Boris. The rejection stings. Cairo drowns her sorrows with Winnie, and fueled by alcohol, they embark on a reckless path. Winnie takes compromising photos of Cairo, intended for Professor Boris. The plan backfires spectacularly. Miller is summoned to the principal's office, his story mirrored in Cairo's provocative assignment. His wife confronts him, her trust shattered. Denials ring hollow as both Cairo and Miller face questioning. Their accounts paint a picture of a potentially inappropriate relationship, leaving Miller's future hanging by a thread. Suspension hangs heavy in the air. Miller's wife offers no comfort, her voice dripping with disdain. Their life, she declares, has become a bore, mirroring the lack of inspiration Miller feels. He pleads with Cairo to stop, but her defiance burns bright. Miller underestimated her, and now, she's determined to rewrite the narrative. Cairo's friend threatens to side with the teacher, but Cairo warns her against it, threatening to expose her relationship with Boris if she does. She asserts that teachers will suffer the consequences. Cairo writes an essay about her experiences, considering it her greatest achievement. Despite personal and professional turmoil, Miller finds inspiration to resume writing, after many years. The final scene shows both characters facing each other, likely at a school hearing that will determine the teacher's future, concluding the story.